Dungeons & Dragons: Honor Among Thieves is officially out. For longtime fans of the franchise, this is an exciting time. Dungeons & Dragons have one of the most exciting stories ever created. The lore dates back to the 1970s, and the only thing stopping you is your own imagination. The 2023 movie is set to take things a step further into reality. The film stars Chris Pine and Sophia Lillis as Edgin Darvis and Doric. This star-studded cast band together and embarks on the ultimate journey to retrieve a long-lost relic. As you can imagine, the story is quite chaotic. Just like a real Dungeons & Dragons game, the movie is filled with crazy plots and twists to keep movie watchers on their feet. The film strives very hard to be fan service. With an IP as unique as this one, where the story is created by the player, satisfying fans is a very hard goal to achieve. Throughout the announcement, reactions from the fans have been interesting to observe. Although most are quite positive about the movie, you do have some that did not like certain creative choices. The box office numbers for Dungeons & Dragons are quite interesting. With a budget of $150 million, it is very clear that Paramount Pictures are banking on this film to succeed. With a budget this large, the box office numbers need to impress. For this movie to simply break even, they will need to make at least $450 million. For those who might not know, you usually need to at least triple the movie budget to make your money back. This is to factor in advertising and marketing. Currently, Dungeons & Dragons had a fairly decent opening. They kicked things off in North America with $38.5 million. They then further managed to boost those numbers up to $72 million globally. Now, this might sound like a big number, and it is, but it is not as impressive as you might think. With this type of opening, the movie is at least trending to make some sort of profit. However, the profit margins might be quite small. The film has one thing going for it, and that is the fact that fans seem to love it. Most agree that the movie did a great job with its storytelling. Unfortunately, fans enjoying the film do not always translate to box office success. The one thing that is counting against this movie right now is massive box office competition. There are some big-name titles to currently compete with, and that competition is only going to rise. On the 5th of April, Super Mario will be released, and most agree that this might take away from Dungeons & Dragons. As the weekend approaches, many families might opt to watch the Nintendo Classic instead. For those who do choose to see Dungeons & Dragons, they will have a good time. The Dungeons & Dragons movie, however, does not come without its controversy. A while ago, the writers for this movie did an interview where they went over their creative process. In the interview, they revealed that they intentionally emasculated all of the men. Now, why they thought this would be a good idea to say out loud, I do not know. Considering that your core fanbase is men, maybe you should have kept that a secret. The writers do, however, insist that it is not for woke reasons. Instead, they say they did it because it is funny. The logic seems to be that the women are always the damsels while the men fight. This time around, they decided to reverse the roles. That sounds a little wokey to me, but I guess it is their creative choice. Ultimately, I do not have an issue with it, as long as the story is good. I am a big boy who can handle a few jokes at my expense and even laugh at them. The writers did make a bit more of a controversial statement when they said, "We just love emasculating leading men." That seems to be a statement to try and provoke purposefully. It is a classic tactic that we see all the time, and it works great. The moment they make the statement, it immediately dominates headlines. In the long run, I do not know how effective this type of marketing is, but it seems to work short term. You alienate one part of the fanbase to attract the other. The thought process seems to be, let's alienate a few men to attract a few women. Only time will tell if this is effective at the box office. However, the hate for Dungeons & Dragons does also go beyond just one interview. The parent company behind the IP has been pushing fans for quite some time now. Most are not happy with what Hasbro has been doing over the last few years. Many feel like they have been destroying their IPs. A while ago, a report was leaked that revealed that Hasbro is not too happy with its profits. They want a bigger cut of the profits that independent Dungeons & Dragons creators generate. Hasbro decided that any creator making $50,000 or more per year needed to submit a report to them. Any company that makes more than $750,000 a year will have to pay royalties. As you can imagine, fans did not like this rule change at all. Many creators rallied together and signed a petition to try and stop this from happening. At this point, it does not look like Dungeons & Dragons followed through with this rule change yet. Even the executive producer of D&D stated that this change was harmful to the fanbase. However, D&D is not the only IP that Hasbro has been messing with over the last few years. Fans are also not very happy with the state of Magic: The Gathering. Fans have been carrying this resentment within them for quite some time. Therefore, it is only natural that they will try and lash out in some way. For many, this might mean not seeing the latest movie. The resentment towards Hasbro could be a contributing factor to the initial low box office numbers. However, it is still possible for these numbers to go up in the coming days and over the weekend. Ultimately, only time will tell exactly how things are going to play out for this movie. Right now, it does have one positive thing going for it. Most who watch it seem to be enjoying it. This is always a great positive for any movie. However, with such a massive budget, good reviews are not enough. You also need to make money. Any type of profit loss will likely kill the chances of a sequel. Right now it is still very early days, and we have seen movies in the past recover as the weeks go on. Their most trying time will come over the weekend. If we see a drop in movie fans watching this movie, then it will only get worse from that point on. Starting tomorrow, they will be going head to head with Super Mario. This is not going to be an easy battle for them. The competition at the box office is already quite strong. Right now we seem to be in a bit of a golden period with movies. The lineup so far over the last few months has been strong. The competition is set to only get stronger from this point forward.